Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Nick Reviews. Today we are doing Crazy Rich Asians, which is directed by John M. Chu and it is starring Constance Wu, who plays Rachel Chu. So I'm going to try to do this without revealing too much about the film, so this movie is set with Rachel and her boyfriend Nick going to Singapore for a wedding. Once arriving in Singapore, Rachel then starts to realize how famous and rich Nick's family really is. And this is where the real tone of the movie gets set, as Rachel meets Nick's mom, who's played by Michelle Yeoh. And Michelle Yeoh does an amazing job as Nick's mom because she's a very strict and traditional Chinese mother. And within the first few seconds of them meeting, you can really tell that Nick's mom does not like Rachel. And this is where the more darker tone of the film comes out. Even though it's romantic comedy, it does have some very sad elements to it. And Nick's mom really takes the role as the antagonist to our protagonist. And throughout the film now, it's kind of about how their clash is going to conclude and how this is going to make or break Nick and Rachel's relationship. And it's probably one of the most interesting parts about the movie, and this is where the movie really starts to get its own feel and elements to it, rather than the beginning of it where it was kind of boring and very typical of what a romantic comedy is like. And speaking about the comedy, all of the comedy throughout the film is brought to you by two actors and one actress, and that is Awkwafina, and then Ken Jeong and Jimmy O Yang. And it was through these three that really the whole comedy of the film is prevalent. And without them, this movie would be a totally different kind of movie. There would probably be some funny scenes to it, but the majority of the funny scenes are basically brought to you by them three. And what I really loved about the film was that through the mise en scène and the cinematography, it really feels kind of like a episode of the Rich and Famous kind of thing, mixed with a travel TV show. So you really get a feel of what Singapore is like, getting the nitty gritty street food vendors and what the locals will do, and then you also get what the very rich and powerful people and how they live like. So what makes this movie really good and what makes this movie really kind of appealing to me, and I'm glad I went to see this in the movie theaters, was that it is one of Hollywood's first, well, it is Hollywood's first actual all Asian cast movie. And from earlier in the year, we saw kind of something similar with Black Panther, where it was an all black cast amongst maybe 5 white people in it, but 4 of them died by the end, so there's only one that survived. And it's interesting that this is where Hollywood's trying to go to, and it's becoming more diverse and just trying to get more stories out there rather than having a kind of a single vision. Now it's kind of branching out to have multiple type of perspectives of what a Hollywood film can be. So this movie had a $30 million budget, and eventually, I think from box office, it made $208 million, and that was just off the first month or so. So $208 million, and there's already going to be a second one coming out. So it just shows you what type of how big this kind of branched out, how Hollywood's really kind of reacting to it, to what this has in store. So to me, I think this movie was a really good romantic comedy. There were some parts, especially in the beginning, that were really boring. So to me, I'm going to have to give this probably a 4 out of 5 stars. And I would recommend it to people. Definitely go see it in theaters. Go support. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this. It was pretty awesome. It's a great date night movie. Other than that, that's it. Thank you for commenting on my last video. Somebody said holes for my next review, so I'll probably do that sometime in November, because as of all of October, I'm going to try to do a bunch of Halloween themed stuff, and I will focus not just on movies, but also probably doing some video games, maybe even TV shows. So thanks for watching, and comment down below what you want me to do next.